Hello YouTube pipers, Double O Pipe here, alias Rick. Excuse me. My Savinelli Bing's favorite with the velvet going into the bowl. And I'm going to stuff it in there. Just like that. Of course, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just doing that. And the one thing I do remember is when you get to where you're finished, you should pack it with your thumb so that it compresses it the right amount. I don't know. I think everybody's got their own method, and I think everybody, well, what the heck? Something's happened back here. Everybody's got their own method, and everybody's method works for them, is what I figure. This is that chocolate eclair. C'est la vie chocolate eclair. Fell down back there. My house is a wreck. I mean, it's not a wreck. It's just well, if you could see what's around this, you would know what I mean. I'll show you in just a sec. Let me put this back here. I told you I wanted to start painting again. So give me a minute to light this up, and I'll turn this around so you can see what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, velvet. My first pipe in about 3 days. Or whenever this the last time I talked to the screen. Now, let me see if I can lift this without disconnecting you. I can't tell what I'm showing you. This is the table it's on. I don't know, I just can't. Okay. I don't know if you're able to see. All that I was trying to show you, but it's just art books, sketchbooks, paints, all mixed in with pipes and tobaccos. It's a neatnik's nightmare is what it is. But I have a room designated to drawing and painting, but it's kind of become a collect-all. And over the weekend, I cleaned it up a little bit, made an alleyway where I can get to the drawing table. And now I got another bookcase. My son and I put it together over the weekend. I filled it up. I have another one on order. And he's going to come over next weekend and help me put that together too. And then whatever does not fit into all these bookcases I've got, it's going. It's not staying here anymore. So I'm going to have a big pile of books that's going to be taken out of this house and, pardon me, given to the library or somebody. I think before I do one of these things, I should drink about 3 glasses of water just to loosen up that phlegm that likes to sit in the back of my throat. I was trying to sketch a friend here. That's what this is. I was going to sketch him until I've got him down to where there's a likeness. The one up top was a picture of him when he was in grammar school with his Boy Scout uniform on. I wanted to try and get that in there in the painting. And just see how it works out, but we'll see. I've got a canvas over there for the day whenever I feel I've got the likeness down enough. When I was in the 3rd grade, and that year was up and summer came, I got sick and I had to stay in bed for a while. And I was always a big comic book fan. And I just started drawing while I was laying there in bed. Terrible, terrible drawings. They weren't stick people, but they were like balloon people. Stick people like balloons. Instead of just lines, they were big outlines. No understanding of anatomy or anything like that. And I made up my own cartoon characters. There was a power mouse, a power rabbit, and my favorite was Nazrat, which was Tarzan spelled backwards. And I thought that was right clever. Only thing was, didn't have the cuteness of a mouse. It looked like a rat with a long tail and a tiger skin. And I drew those all summer. And the next year, when I went to grammar school, I had a cartoon sequence as if it were a funny book or a comic book. And I put it on the bulletin board. And when the teacher found it up there, she took it down. She didn't appreciate my comic book. Anyway, so much for the beginnings. I continued to draw and tried painting. up until, let's see, I was in eighth grade when I got one of those matchbook covers that said "Draw Me," and I drew it, and I sent it in, and I got a letter in the mail. Said, fill this out, send for your free tutorial or free lesson in drawing. So I got it and I filled it out and I sent it in and forgot all about it. I may have told this story before, I don't know. But it must have been a few weeks later. I got a phone call in the afternoon while we were watching TV and eating dinner. And I yelled, "I'll get it." And I ran to the back, picked up the phone, and said, "Hello." And the person on the other end said, "I'd like to speak to Rick Croucher, or Ricky Croucher, please." So I said, "That's me." And he said, "You haven't sent in your payment for your art course." I said, "I'm sorry." He said, "Yeah, we need your payment before we can send these lessons out." And I said, "I didn't know I owed anybody any money for lessons." He said, "Yeah, you signed a contract when you sent it through the mail." I said, "Well, I don't have any money." He said, "Well, this is a legal contract, and if you don't send us the money, we can sue you." I said, "What?" That's when I yelled, "Dad!" Oh, and he came in the back and he said, what's the matter, son?" I said, "This guy says I owe him money and he's going to sue me." He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Here, talk to him." So he took the phone. The guy explained it to him. My dad said, "You do realize that the person who signed that contract, as you call it, is 11 years old, don't you?" He said, "I don't think your contract is binding, and I don't think you can sue my son since he's only 11, and you would have to have somebody who's an adult to sign something like that you could sue." And I guess they swallowed their words and said, "Okay," and Dad said, "Okay, goodbye." When he got off the phone, he said, "Son, what was that all about?" I said, "That must be something to do with that famous artist school. They sent me some papers to fill out, said they were going to give me a free lesson." And I said, "I never heard from him again until this phone call." He said, "Well, I don't think you're going to hear from him again." I said, "Well, it had me worried there for a minute." He said, You're a child, son. They can't hold you to anything, so don't let it bother you anymore." Next time I saw one of those advertisements that said "Draw Me," there was a little lettering down at the bottom that I had never seen before that said, "Must be 18 or older in order to." in order to receive this. So anyway, many years later, when I was an adult, I sent off and tried it again. Sent them their money, and they sent me all the stuff. And I sent a few lessons in, and with time it just sort of dwindled, so that they had gotten all their money from me, and I had gotten all their information, and I just stopped sending in the information and kept on my own. But my uncle painted, and I used to go over to his place and sit in on his watercolor demonstrations and learned how to paint watercolor a little bit. Excuse me. Continued to paint. Entered some shows. There was one big show that we had every year that I entered, and I won. I don't know whether it was first place or I think it was first place. And I had a price on it because I liked the painting. I had a price on it that I thought nobody would pay, that it was too much for what it was. But somebody bought it. And for some reason that affected me in a way that I stopped painting. I don't know, I think it made me think, well, gee, I've accomplished what I wanted to do. Maybe that's as much as I can do. And I think I froze or something, because I wasn't able to do much after that. I still painted occasionally, but never produced anything like that. I painted a portrait of my uncle that I liked a lot. And I said, for all you've done for me, I'd like you to have this portrait. And when he first got it, he liked it. But some of his artist friends started telling him what was wrong with it. So he told me that, and then he gave it to his girlfriend. Before that, he had had it in his house. But his artist buddies dimmed his eyes toward it. He didn't really like it that much after that, and that's why he gave it to his girlfriend, who liked it a lot. She has it in her house still, even though he's passed on now, I think. But I was right proud of that. And it was a style that I liked. And that's the last portrait I painted in, gosh, ages. So anyway, I told you I'm going to get back into it. And I've done a few sketches. And I've got all these materials out here to give it another try. I don't know how much I can do before I die. My son has a portrait I painted of him. I liked it a lot. And I think he liked it a lot. I think he's got it in his study. He's got several other paintings that I have done too that he likes. To me, some of them are unfinished, but to him, he liked them that way, so he took them. I have the one of my buddy Larry. He passed away, and I sent a copy of a picture of the painting to his, I think it was his sister or his brother, I'm not sure. And they put it in the pamphlet. See if I can find it here. Well, I thought I had it here. But I don't see it. I'll look for it and show it next time. Wait a minute. This might be it. Nope. Sorry I'm wasting your time. I thought I had it up there because I kept stuff like that up there. But when I find it with the next video I do, I'll show it to you. At his funeral, they had a handout, and in that handout, I was surprised. They sent me a copy of it. In that handout, they had that photo of the portrait of him with his trumpet. Anyway, I took a couple of classes at the local art gallery, and I wanted to learn. I wanted somebody to show me what I was doing. And when they came, the teacher came by, he said, well, you know what you're doing. I don't need to show you anything. Well, I don't know. Maybe I did. My problem is I could never figure out how to finish them. That was... I would get to a point and I would not know how to take it any farther. So I would end with an unfinished painting. So I'm going to try and work through those things in the next few weeks. And I'll keep you apprised. Well, I hope I didn't bore you. Take care of yourselves. Weekend's coming up. Today's Thursday, isn't it? Anyway, the weekend's coming up. If you got plans, I hope they work out for you. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Till the next time. Bye-bye.